Can you tell what's fake here? This artist, this king, or this photo? What do you think? The right answer will be in the end of the video. But maybe fakes aren't that bad, and sometimes they even give you more than you expect. Let's explore. This is Uncover with Art, a CIFRA TV series where we turn to art to explain the world around us, even most complicated matters like truth, illusion, and how they work around you today. So, what is a fake, really? Where did fakes come from? And why do they suddenly feel more powerful than the truth itself? Did you know that the word fake didn't come from the internet? It came from crime. In 1819, British convict James Hardy Vaux included fake in his criminal slang dictionary as a verb covering everything from forgery to deception. By the 1890, journalists were already using fake news. By the 1910, jazz musicians used to fake it. By the 2010, the term became a political weapon.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news.
So, fakes didn't appear online, they just finally found their perfect ecosystem. According to a major MIT study, false news spreads 70% faster than true news. Not because people are gullible, but because fake stories are surprising, emotional, clickable.
And of course... Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Another USC-led study shows a small group of habitual sharers spreads a huge portion of misinformation because platforms reward speed over accuracy. Let's accept this. We live in a world where fakes travel faster, hit harder, and spread farther than reality. By the way, CIFRA works in seasons. Each one dives into a topic anyone in the world can relate to. Right now, the season is Restart Reality, where we explore media fakes, reconstructed archives, and alternative histories. So yes, this video is part of that season too. And now, let's get back to fakes. We started doubting what we see long before. Do you remember the fairy tale about the naked king who made to believe he was wearing the rarest silk? Only the wise could see, while his clothes were a fake. Hans Christian Andersen reworked this ancient story and titled it The Emperor's New Clothes in 1837. Yet the first traces of it go back to the early Middle Ages, and this is a lovely example of how fakes actually work. While you believe it, you can't see the truth.
Indescribable.
Thank you.
Magnificent.
Speaking of royals, imagine it's 1902. The world is watching the coronation of Edward VII on the very same day it's happening. But it is a British royal fake. The filming of the real coronation wasn't allowed. So Charles Urban, a producer who wanted a film of the event, thought, fine, then we'll make one. He commissioned Georges Méliès, the famous director of A Trip to the Moon, to recreate the entire coronation in a studio. So the Westminster Abbey you see on screen, it's actually a set somewhere near Paris. The king is played by a laundry worker, and when this fake coronation premiered the same evening as the real one, people accepted it as if they were seeing the actual ceremony. By the way, King Edward himself was delighted with the movie. Now look at this scene. A film frame from 1922. This man is known as Nanook, the star of what was marketed as the first great Arctic documentary, and it was a fake. The film Nanook of the North was directed by Robert Flaherty, and almost everything that feels real in it was carefully staged. Flaherty cast a man whose real name was Alakarialak, gave him a family that wasn't his, and recreated traditional hunts with harpoons, even though the Inuit had already been using rifles for years. He built special igloos with a missing wall so the camera could see inside. He asked people to play themselves, to reenact their daily life but in a way that matched Western fantasies about pure, untouched culture. The result looked authentic, raw, truthful, but it wasn't reality. It was designed authenticity, a scripted version of life adjusted for the camera. The film didn't just document Inuit life, it produced a myth that shaped Western ideas about the Arctic for decades. And here's the bigger point. Every time a new technology appears, photography, radio, cinema, it doesn't just show the world, it teaches us what the world is supposed to look like. And the more powerful these technologies become, the easier it is to stage truth so convincingly that the fake no longer looks like fake.
Your Excellency, here's your water. What in the world's the matter? Your Excellency, I thought you left.
Oh, no, I no leave.
But I saw you with my own eyes.
Well, who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes?
By the late 20th century, philosophers began to notice a disturbing pattern. Among them was Jean Baudrillard, who wrote that modern images no longer reflect reality, they replace it. In his book Simulacra and Simulation, Baudrillard says we're surrounded by copies with no originals, signs that don't point to anything real yet feel completely real to us. So these fakes no longer copy the world, they become it. He calls this hyperreality, a world made of media images, brands, models, digital representations, a world where it's easier to consume the sign of something than to experience the something itself. And here's the unsettling part. Baudrillard argues that eventually society stops caring about what's true. It only cares about what circulates, what feels right, what fits the media logic. He said, "We live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning. In other words, you don't lose reality because someone lies to you. You lose it because the signs, the images, the representations multiply faster than truth can catch up."
Beyond there, and a little picnic basket, for some reasons.
To show how far this substitution can go, let's go back to 1938. Orson Welles goes on air with a radio play, The War of the Worlds. Martians landing in New Jersey, sirens, urgent bulletins. A perfect performance of reality.
7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. A tub, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. It's going higher and higher. What? It's standing on legs, actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
Some listeners believed it. Newspapers the next morning shouted, "Radio listeners in panic. Mass hysteria across America." But here's the second twist. The panic was exaggerated. Even the panic was a kind of fake. A media construction used to attack radio, its rising competitor. So Welles didn't just create a fake event. He exposed how easy it is for media to turn fiction into public truth.
Can you come home, please, right away? No, the baby's all right. It's the Martians. Yes, Martians.
No, ma'am, it's just a radio play. State police. No, sir, it's just a No, sir, we have no official confirmation, but we believe it's just a radio play.
And he didn't stop there. Decades later, he made F for Fake, a film essay about art forgers, but also a forgery of a documentary itself. A movie that talks about fakes while constantly faking its own narrative.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of introduction, this is a film about trickery and fraud, about lies.
But maybe every movie is fake? In a way. Cinema's realism is built on fakery. Celery for bones, pasta for blood, watermelons for punches. Authenticity is a construction. Wait, you might say all this is history. Yes, but today, we live in a world where fake is so common that even the wildest conspiracy theories can feel true. And cinema now plays with the fact that we're already lost in the layers of fake. The X-Files, trust no one, is the only sane rule. The Matrix, your entire world is a script running in the background. Black Mirror, the future is bright and fake. Bugonia, when paranoia starts to look almost reasonable. And these are just a few examples. If you think we've missed great ones, share them in the comments. Fakes can be tools, weapons, interventions. But don't rush to judge them as something fundamentally bad. They do copy and replace the original and become reality. And yet, some fakes reveal illusions we can't live without. Some fakes are art. And there's one more thing. Every fake uncovers something about our reality that we would never find without it. So now we think you're ready to see the anatomy of 3 fakes that are actually art, and we promise they're nothing you'd expect to be real. The first story is about Janša, and this one is a fake becoming reality. Conspiracy theories imagine politicians with doubles. But in Slovenia in 2007, the doubles were real because 3 artists made them real. They each legally changed their name to the sitting prime minister's name, Janez Janša. No hacking, no deepfakes, just bureaucracy, doing what bureaucracy does, rubber stamping a perfect simulacrum. Suddenly, there weren't one, but 3 official Janez Janšas. 3 identical names, 3 legitimate identities, 3 state-approved copies of power. Families didn't know how to react. Are you the Prime Minister now? What do we write in the family book? How will we know who's the real one? And that was the point. The artist showed how fragile official truth is, how easily a political identity can be reproduced, how repetition erases uniqueness. This wasn't a prank, it was a demonstration. In modern systems, a fake doesn't mimic reality, it becomes reality.
Yes, Janez Janša. Yes, Janez Janša. Yes, Janez Janša. Yes, Janez Janša.
Second is, alas, poor YORICK, when fake someone can do something no one real can. If cinema manipulates fiction, some artists go even further. They manipulate the very identity of the artist. Meet Stefan Speer, a filmmaker, author of the multi-layered fake film, Alas, Poor YORICK. Except, Stefan Speer never existed. His entire biography, his career, his persona, his digital footprint was fabricated by 2 contemporary artists who constructed a fake artist to release a film about fake news. And the film uses the very forms of fake, spam messages, chain videos, unstable footage to expose how fake works from the inside. It's a trap of trust. Alas, Poor YORICK looks like the media landscape we already live in. Compressed WhatsApp videos, chaotic audio, trash aesthetic visuals, the same channels where real misinformation travels. Its narrator YORICK tells us he once fabricated stories, spread political lies, helped seed disinformation. But we have no way of knowing how much of this is real. And that's the point. When a fake artist releases a fake confession through fake media formats about the danger of fake news, the viewer is forced into radical doubt. Alas, Poor YORICK gives us a space for political critique. Now YORICK still tells the truth no one real can. Third one is Pseudomnesia, the Electrician, a memory that never was. In 2023, Boris Eldagsen's Pseudomnesia, the Electrician, won a major category at the Sony World Photography Awards before Eldagsen revealed that the photograph wasn't a photograph at all. It was generated with AI. The title Pseudomnesia means false memory, and that's exactly what it produces. Images that feel archival, as if pulled from the 1,940, yet depict memories that never existed. By refusing the award, Eldagsen forced the industry to confront a question it had been postponing. If an image looks like a photograph, does it matter how it was made? Once, photography liberated painting, freeing it from having to depict reality and allowing artists to finally focus on the medium itself. And yes, once painting no longer had to chase realism, it gave birth to the avant-garde of the 20th century. But let's return to the work. Eldagsen calls this new medium promptography. Images produced not by light, but by language. Pictures born as fakes from the very first pixel. And this award-winning promptography reminds us that technology doesn't kill art, it transforms it. We can no longer trust our eyes alone. We must understand the context, the tools, the process. The viewer becomes responsible for asking, who made this? How? And why? So what is a fake? A political illusion, a media trick, a cultural weapon, something more interesting than the truth. And this is only the first episode. Because if the 20th century built fake realities, the 21st century built fake people. Deepfakes don't just copy faces, they imitate presence, memory, identity. Next episode, we're going inside that world. So if you like this video and want to see more content like this, please give us a follow and share your thoughts in the comments. Plus, don't forget to check out the artworks on CIFRA.com. And if you'd like to support artists, take a look at our CIFRA Club, where you can get exclusive art boxes, 4K quality, and a members-only art digest. We can't wait to keep showing you what art can uncover in the world we all live in.